Okay, let's call this meeting the Haysville Planning Commission order. First item of business is the roll call.
Blood.
Here.
Plummer.
Here.
Franken.
Here.
Azier.
Here.
Coleman.
Here.
Atkins.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Next item of business is the approval of minutes of February 23rd, 2022. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as approved, or as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Thank you. Can we take special order of business off the agenda since we haven't had it in a while? In the future?
Sure.
Under new business, we have a pre-plat for River Forest 3rd Edition.
Good evening. Before you is the preliminary plat review of River Forest 3rd Edition to Haysville. Mr. Holland, the agent with CFS Engineers is present, as well as Mr. Brown with PEC. The property is 13.32 acres and is zoned SF Single Family Residential with a conditional use to allow an assisted living center that was approved in February of 2022. The conditional use is only for Lot 2, Block A, and a small portion of Lot 1, Block A. Any other proposed uses would have to go through a conditional use or a zone change. Responses from the utility companies and concerns from two citizens concerning traffic is in the staff report before you, which I did put new ones out for you. Responses from the staff recommends the approval of the preliminary plat, provided the applicant utilizes recommendations and submitted comments before submitting the final plat for approval. The agent for the applicant is here to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have questions for staff or questions for the applicant? Would you like to speak?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Kevin Holland, Cook Flat and Strobel Engineers, CFS Engineers, whichever way. I apologize for the lengthy drainage report that probably came along with your packet. I know if you need any material to put you to sleep, feel free to dive in. And the other piece of that I think that might be a little confusing is the owner was looking to look at future needs on that property, and that's why the independent living on the northwest piece of that is shown. Doesn't mean it necessarily will ever come in like that, but he wanted to make sure that the roadway, which I think we're changing the curves and so the radii on the roadway are going to change a little bit for the final plat, but he wanted to see how that would function in the future, even though that future is not anytime soon.
So to be clear, so everybody understands that Lot 1, Block A has not been, the zoning has not been changed for that. They would have to bring that through, and we'd be able to approve a layout and whatever conditions we want to put on that part of it at that time. So for now, this is just a picture, but everything in Lot 2 is what you're going to build.
Correct. I think there is an underground detention facility there that may be changing due to Mr. Brown's comments and some of the comments that came back. We may change the drainage to utilize the existing pond as a detention facility. We're working through those calculations and depths currently.
Is that detention on the east side of the proposed assisted living in the parking lot?
That's the grid of the parking lot.
That is exactly what that is. That's underground detention. If we weren't going to go into the existing pond, we were going to use an underground detention facility and then pump it back out to the exit location where the pond exits.
So for clarification, you're not going to do at this time an independent living? I was very interested in the independent, and I know several community members were also. And
It
we
is.
I understood that was to be part of it.
I believe the assisted living in the northeast, and I should reference lots and blocks would probably be a lot easier, but only the Lot 2 Block A. Lot 1 is As Mr. Chair said, it's a pretty picture that Mr. Klossman is looking at the future needs, and if he can expand, he will go in that direction. As
Currently
well
zoned
as,
single family though, right?
I'm sorry, sir?
Currently zoned single family?
That is correct. And so we'd have to come back through this situation, but in talking to their legal counsel, that piece of the puzzle is not imminent.
But it's owned by them.
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
It's what they want to do in the future, they're just not ready to do it yet, so.
Yeah. They want the roadway to be laid out in case that does come forward in the future.
Do you have any problems meeting any other requirements or comments?
No, sir.
I mean, I think that fire access road between the two facilities would still be needed regardless of what that looks like on the other side, so.
And I believe we're putting it in on both sides of the facility as
Okay.
well for them. There was a question about a roadway being 35 feet versus 30. We'll accommodate that as well.
Any other questions or comments? We don't need to approve as a preliminary plat or anything, right?
I thought you did. As a preliminary to move forward, or no? I thought we did usually.
Okay. Well, the whole purpose of it is to get comments, to get the final plat, so
Okay.
we really can't approve much, it's fine as is, but all the comments need to be addressed before we
Okay.
can move forward, so. If that's what you want us to do, we can make a motion to move forward.
I would say we do, so
Okay.
that way we're moving forward.
Then I would entertain a motion.
We don't usually split them off, but
And the motion would be for what?
To approve the preliminary plat?
yep. with
Without the independent, without the independent living.
Yeah, it's just the Lot 2, Block A.
With the recommended changes. Yeah.
Yes.
The plat itself has that lot as an individual lot, it's just zoned single family instead of what they intend to use it
Right.
for. So the zoning of it doesn't really matter for the face of the lot.
I make a motion to approve the preliminary plat with the changes that were recommended.
I'll second.
I have a motion second to approve with changes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next item is review the Hazel BZA plan. Bicycle ped.
You should have a copy of this. We did extensive changes to this last year, so I don't have that many changes to this. Obviously, updating the year, and then just on page 3, under amenities, the repair station, we did add one to Dorner, so adding Dorner to existing stations, and then changing, for some reason it said future parking, should be future stations. That's the only changes I have for that, so.
Okay. This is just a yearly review and update?
Yep.
Okay.
It's already been through park board for changes and then coming to you. It's just a piece of the comp plan that we review yearly.
So I would entertain a motion to recommend to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the Hazel Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan as presented.
A second.
Motion second to approve the ped plan as presented, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item of business is the review of the Hazel Park Plan for 2023.
So this one, same thing, updating the year. Going to page 7, added updates at the end of that paragraph for completed items over in Fred A. Colmia Park, over by the activity center for the PVC pipe that was updated concrete, and then the ADA swing that's being planned over there. So that was just an update on things that were done. Moving to page 9, same thing with Plagans Carpenter ball fields. We're moving things that were done, changing some wording on that. I do need to, one item down there I wanted to add, it didn't get added, considering playability improvements for field 1, reducing field size, everything I want to add as communicated from USD baseball team and the aviators. That was kind of a request by them. And then Moving to page 16, Kirby Park, just moving some history down. It was under planned improvements about adding a dock there, but that would allow use to the public. Just moving that down under history that it's been talked about. It's not actually planned to do. Move forward to page 27, Dorner Park, adding that, we added a repair station there. Wi-Fi was added last year and the fountains were added to the park. Page 28, just removing that Wi-Fi was done, that we're gonna add a bike rack this year. Page 30, Country Lakes Park was added this last year, so updating that photo, and those items that were done. Under USD 261 facilities, removing the USD playgrounds, because they are locked and not always accessible to the public. On the map, we did remove the mileage on the next page on 31, because not all those sections were correct, so we just have the total mileage on there. And then on page 32, under Fix-It Stations, for some reason Victor's building is listed and there's not one there yet. That's a future plan, so I just changed that. That's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
They wanna reduce the size of Field 1?
Yeah, it's like one of the largest in the state from what I've been told, because it's 400 and a lot of them are 410.
Dead center, just around there.
A lot of them are 375, I think, but, yeah. And there's some other improvements to the dugouts and stuff. They're pretty extensive, and then of course turfing the field, so.
Georgie, I've got a question on the historic district.
What
the
page?
Master plan. It's got the chapel still listed, is that still?
As far as I know, we didn't decide to take that off, it was left on
I
there.
thought we had taken it off.
I can check back, but I didn't think we had decided to take it off this year, but I can check that. If that is the case, Debbie, I'll make sure it gets added, changed
Okay.
next year.
Any other questions or comments? Motion?
I make a motion to approve the 2023 Park Board Master Plan with the changes she had mentioned.
Second.
Motion second to approve as presented, all in favor?
Aye.
No old business? No correspondence, any off agenda?
Off agenda, I wanted to bring up the discussion of possibly changing our meetings to, typically in the past, we've always had scheduled twice a month, the second and the fourth. With the way council meetings have changed to only once a month, the timing for when sometimes hit, because we meet the second week, which is the week of council, it doesn't go until the following month. So I was looking at possibly the first and the third. I wanted to get comments from everybody. The third, we could look at just having a scheduled meeting once a month. And it's something else we could call a special meeting if we needed to. Just want to kind of see what everybody's thoughts are, if you're available for that. Still keeping the time at 6 o'clock, so.
I don't know if you've looked to see in the last couple of years how often we've had 2 meetings a month, but my recollection is it's not very, so we could probably cut it back to 1.
I'd be for that, once a month.
And that's, we typically try to hit once a month.
Combining it all into 1 meeting is gonna make for sometimes a grueling 15, 20-minute meeting, so
Yeah,
be prepared for that. But as far as the date, does the 3rd or 1st work better for anyone else than the other?
The first works better for me. I have meetings on the 3rd already.
I have the opposite problem. I have the first Thursday of every month that I have a conflict, so.
You said-
Since we're meeting the 2nd, if we met the 4th, does that, we're doing 2nd and 4th now, right?
Right.
Is the 4th not enough turnaround time to get before council?
Not when we have public hearings, because we've got the 20 days, 20 and then 14 days before council meeting. So we'd have to hit, the 3rd would be kind of ideal. What time do you have meetings that night?
6 o'clock.
Okay. So just for discussion, anybody else have any conflicts? Nope. Okay. Well, I'm not looking at changing this next month, but I was just gonna kind of see what thoughts were and everything, so. Yeah, the
Don't
third.
change it till Monday.
The third would be better, just because for turnaround time for getting minutes with the first week when we have meetings on Thursday. Packets go out on Friday for council, getting minutes done in 8 hours is sometimes a little bit hard. So,
Well, between now and the next meeting, if you have other thoughts or you think of anything that, you know, I don't know if moving it to a different day helps. It's been Thursday for as long as all of us have been alive, but I don't know that there's any need for it to be on a Thursday.
that's true too.
If we moved it to Wednesday, it takes care of both your conflicts.
Then we hit church for some people,
Yeah.
so it's always kind of,
And I have a different conflict on Wednesdays usually.
But I can give up my meetings that I go to on the third Thursday. It's extracurricular, not required, so. It's volunteer work, so.
Well, this is extracurricular.
Yeah, kinda.
I'm not getting paid. I don't know about all of you.
Well, I don't get paid either, but this is more important by far.
Well, think about it, and if you figure out something that works, we can talk about the third Thursday, and if not, we can talk about moving it to, I'm gonna say no Fridays, but maybe
I
a
won't move it to
Monday or a
Friday.
Tuesday might be better,
I can't do it on Monday.
but Tuesday. So, everybody think about the third Tuesday, and
I could do the third Tuesday, not the second.
it's the only thing with third Tuesday hits historic, it's not every month, but, that would cause a
That would
conflict
cause a conflict.
with staff. So,
okay, well,
What time is that one at?
What's
I would be okay
Why?
with third Thursday.
okay,
if anybody else has something that they forgot about, just email Georgie and let us know.
okay.
Otherwise, we'll absorb this for a month and see if everybody still feels the same.
Okay, because we have, coming back this next month, we'll be looking at uses. We're gonna be looking at going to a use table and definitions, so that will be coming back, that I previously had talked to you guys about, that we'll be looking at, so,
Land uses,
yes,
Yeah.
sorry. Guess I should have threw that in there.
just to be clear.
All right,
No other off agenda, item 9.
I'd make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Have a motion and second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, everybody.